DeAndre Ayton has been called just about everything since stepping into the NBA. Overpaid, overrated, lazy, even a bust. That's the reality of being drafted #1 overall in 2018, especially when your new teammate Luka Dončić was taken right after you. The comparisons have haunted him from day one. But here's the truth. Just because Ayton hasn't become the superstar fans expected doesn't mean he isn't a massive pickup for the Los Angeles Lakers. Think about it. How many 7-footers in the league can move with his fluidity? How many can step out of the paint and hit turnarounds, floaters, push shots, and still finish at the rim with elite efficiency? The list is short, and Ayton has shown flashes of exactly that. Whether it was dominating the paint during Phoenix's run to the 2021 finals or flashing all-star potential during his hot stretch in Portland. That rare combination of size, touch, and mobility is why he was taken first overall, why he earned a max contract in Phoenix, and why multiple teams lined up to offer him big money. At just 27, Ayton still has the tools. It's now about effort, consistency, and proving to Lakers fans that he can finally silence the critics and rise next to Luka.
DeAndre's been here the last couple weeks playing with the guys and just super impressed by his size, his agility, his hands. This guy played pick and roll with Chris Paul. His feel for two-man action is just super high, and really excited to see him play with Luka.
DeAndre Ayton has been one of the most polarizing players in the NBA since he entered the league. Drafted first overall in 2018 ahead of Luka Dončić, the label of overpaid, lazy, and even bust has followed him for years. Fans expected Ayton to be a perennial superstar, but the reality is more complicated. He may not be the face of a franchise, but that doesn't mean he can't be a winning piece. And for the Los Angeles Lakers, his arrival is both timely and necessary. Let's break it down. Ayton is only 27 years old, just entering what should be the prime of his career. People talk about him like he's a washed veteran, but the numbers tell a different story. Over the last 2 seasons in Portland, a team openly rebuilding and often tanking, Ayton still averaged nearly 16 points and 11 rebounds per game. That's not empty production either. He did it while playing with rookie guards like Scoot Henderson and inconsistent teammates like Anthony Simons, all in a system where winning wasn't the priority. Now imagine that same Ayton in Los Angeles, catching lobs and running pick and rolls with Luka Dončić and Austin Reaves. That's a completely different world. And here's the key. Ayton has already proven he can thrive next to an elite playmaker. During Phoenix's finals run, he started 45 playoff games in just 3 seasons, averaging 16 points and over 10 boards while holding his own against some of the league's best bigs. He wasn't a superstar, but he was reliable, efficient, and at times dominant. That version of Ayton didn't just vanish. It's waiting to be unlocked again. Critics point to his lack of motor or inconsistent effort, and those concerns are real. But the expectations matter here. Ayton was a #1 overall pick and a max contract player, which means fans expected him to carry teams, to be a 25 and 15 guy every night. But the Lakers don't need that. They don't need Ayton to be Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic. What they need is a legitimate starting center who can rebound, defend, and punish defenses when Luka and Reaves draw double teams. Compared to what they had last season, Jackson Hayes starting playoff games, the upgrade is monumental. Let's be honest, Hayes is an energy big who can provide flashes off the bench, but he is not a starter you trust in the playoffs. With Ayton, the difference in size, skill, strength, and touch is so wide that it's almost impossible not to call this a win for the Lakers. And it's not just about the numbers, it's about the skill set. Few 7-footers move with Ayton's fluidity. He has one of the softest touches in the league from 5 to 12 feet. Look at his post work. Backing down Goga Bitadze, spinning into a one-legged Dirk-style fadeaway at the shot clock buzzer, pure money. Against Kevon Looney, he calmly pivots into a smooth jumper. Plays like these highlight the gap between Ayton and Hayes. Hayes can dunk and block shots, sure, but Ayton has actual polish. This matters because of the Lakers' offensive structure. Luka is constantly commanding 2 defenders. Reaves often sees traps, and LeBron still draws doubles. Last season, when those traps came, the bailout pass often went to Hayes in the middle of the floor, a spot where he wasn't comfortable. Now, those passes will go to Ayton, who thrives in that exact position. That forces defenses into impossible choices. Trap Luka and risk Ayton getting an easy look inside, or stay home and watch Luka carve them up one-on-one. Either way, it's pressure on the defense that the Lakers simply didn't have last year. Another overlooked point is contract value. Many think Ayton's deal is massive, but compared to other big men with similar production, it's actually team-friendly. For what the Lakers are paying, they've secured a player who, even in a down year, put up near double-doubles nightly. That's value, especially when you consider they gave up zero draft capital or trade pieces to sign him. In a league where finding a starting caliber big is expensive, this move looks even smarter. But of course, the story with Ayton always comes back to effort. Suns fans saw moments of dominance, followed by stretches where he disappeared. Blazers fans saw flashes, but questioned his desire. Now it's Lakers fans' turn. Will Ayton lock in and embrace his role, or will the same old questions resurface? Here's the difference. In Los Angeles, Ayton won't have to be the guy. He won't face the weight of being a franchise savior. Instead, he gets to play off Luka, one of the best creators in basketball, alongside LeBron and Reaves. That environment could strip away the pressure and let him focus on what he does best: rebounding, finishing, and using his soft touch in the mid-range. The talent has always been there. At his peak, Ayton was giving Giannis problems in the 2021 finals. He was out-rebounding Anthony Davis and holding his ground defensively. That player is still inside him. And with the Lakers desperate for size, consistency, and playoff-level production at the center spot, Ayton doesn't have to be a superstar to make a huge impact. He just has to care. At the end of the day, DeAndre Ayton might never live up to the hype of being a #1 overall pick. But for this Lakers team, that doesn't matter. They aren't asking for Embiid-level dominance. They're asking for reliability, rebounding, rim protection, and the ability to make defenses pay when they overload Luka and LeBron. If Ayton can bring that, the Lakers have turned a glaring weakness into a strength and given themselves a real shot at a deeper playoff run. DeAndre Ayton's name has been dragged through the mud since the day he stepped into the NBA. People have called him overpaid, overrated, lazy, even a bust. That's the curse of being the #1 overall pick in a draft that included Luka Dončić. But now, at 27 years old, Ayton finds himself in Los Angeles. And for the Lakers, this isn't just a good move. It could be a game changer. Because here's the truth. Ayton isn't some scrub who's washed up. Even in Portland, on a team going nowhere, with little motivation and zero spacing, he still averaged nearly 16 points and 11 rebounds over the last 2 seasons. That's while playing alongside young guards like Scoot Henderson and Anthony Simons, not elite playmakers. Now imagine him next to Luka Dončić and Austin Reaves. If Ayton could thrive in Phoenix when Chris Paul was setting him up, just think about the pick-and-roll opportunities Luka can create. J.J. Redick wasn't exaggerating when he said that if you can play with CP3, you'll love playing with Luka. The expectations around Ayton have always been sky high. He was drafted first overall and given a max contract, which meant fans wanted a superstar. But Ayton isn't a superstar, and the Lakers don't need him to be. What they need is a reliable, skilled big man who can finish plays, rebound, and anchor the paint. Compared to what they had last season, starting Jackson Hayes in playoff games, Ayton feels like a massive upgrade. Hayes can provide energy off the bench, sure, but the difference in skill, size, and polish is enormous. Look at Ayton's skill set. At 7 feet tall, he moves fluidly with the touch of a guard. He can hit jump hooks, floaters, and even mid-range fadeaways. Inside 12 feet, he's one of the most efficient scorers in the entire league. He doesn't just rely on lobs, he can actually create offense with his footwork and soft hands. That's what made him the first overall pick and why multiple teams once threw max contracts his way. But there's another layer to his game that the Lakers will benefit from: offensive rebounding. Ayton ranked top 10 in offensive boards last season. Even when he misses, there's a good chance he's cleaning up his own shot. People love to talk about his motor, and yes, he doesn't always bring 100% intensity. But even at half speed, he's still a double-double machine and one of the best rebounders in the league. So what's the catch? Why did the Lakers get him for practically nothing? The answer is inconsistency. We've seen Ayton dominate playoff series with Phoenix, anchoring their defense while putting up nearly 20 and 10 a night. But we've also seen him coast, set weak screens, or drift through possessions. That inconsistency, combined with the weight of his draft status and max contract, is what made people sour on him. Portland moved on because they wanted to focus on their young core. But here's why the Lakers might finally unlock his best version: Los Angeles and Luka Dončić. Ayton himself has already spoken about what this opportunity means. He called Luka a once-in-a-generation player and said he won't take this partnership for granted. That's important because when a player buys into the system and actually wants to be there, effort follows. And let's be real, Luka has made guys like Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford look like stars in the pick and roll. Ayton is bigger, stronger, and far more skilled than either of them. Luka doesn't need Ayton to sprint full speed to the rim every possession. If Ayton just gets to his spots, Luka will find him. Their partnership has the potential to be one of the most effective guard-big duos in the league. Think about this. Since Ayton entered the NBA in 2018, there have been only 9 players to average at least 15 points and 10 rebounds per game. Every single one of them, except Ayton, has been an all-star, and several of them have MVPs. The production is there. The talent is there. The question has always been consistency. But with the Lakers getting him on a team-friendly contract with no draft capital given up, the pressure finally shifts. Ayton doesn't need to carry a franchise anymore. He just needs to be the reliable big man the Lakers haven't had in years. If he delivers even close to his Phoenix-level performances, this could turn into one of the biggest steals of the offseason. Because make no mistake, the Lakers didn't just replace Jackson Hayes. They added a skilled, efficient 27-year-old center who, when engaged, can give you 20 and 10 while protecting the rim. That's the kind of piece that can tilt playoff series. And that's why the league should be paying attention, because if DeAndre Ayton finds his rhythm in purple and gold, the Lakers just became a whole lot scarier.